Hey there guys, Ibaraki Ben here. So today we're going to be talking about power. So basically electricity power. So first of all, you've got to have yourself a generator. So in this case I've got a couple of generators. I've got this one which produces 10, which is the biggest generator. Over here I've got another large generator, so this one also produces 10. So, and I've got a small one over here, and somewhere else I've got another small one laying around. But anyway, you need power for your settlements because if you don't have very good lighting, even if you put beds in the rooms, the settlers won't use it and they'll just keep on complaining about the situation of the beds. So you do need lights, and the rooms need to be fairly well lit. So like in this case, if I turn my lights off, as you can see this room doesn't really have lights inside. So I've only got this one up here, which to be honest for this room is not really very good. So if we look at it, we've got one assigned, so they're all assigned, but whether they'll actually use them is another thing. So with this, gonna lower it down, and as you can see it doesn't make a damn difference. So we'll get rid of that, and we're gonna add some wall lights instead. So we'll throw that on there, and that's pretty much enough for this room. In fact, let's center that one off. There we go. So obviously you need electricity supply into that, so I've put a conduit on the outside of the wall. So with the conduits, they work on basically area of effect. So if you imagine a sphere is going to be invisibly coming off of this, so if the conduit is not close enough, then basically the light is not going to work. So it means that you need to move a conduit closer. So as long as the conduit is touching the same thing, it will be no problem. You can just literally start plugging stuff onto the wall. But if it's nearby, like you've got it attached to the roof, then you need the light to be near it. So in this case, here works okay. So with the conduits, they have different types of conduits. Wrong one. So the different types, you've got ones that will fit onto the ground. So I don't really know why you would want those, but yeah, they've got types that fit onto the ground. You've got the ones that fit onto the walls, and then you've got the ones that will fit onto the ceilings. Now the cables cannot go through other walls and structures, so for example you could actually run the cable through the window if you wanted to and put a conduit straight in the middle of the room, but that would mean that you would also need a small pylon on the outside, or you would have to actually, if possible, not possible, or you would have to actually put a small pylon outside the window to connect it. So in this case you would have to put a pylon just here and run the cable in through the window and up, but then that's going to waste on size. So the best thing to do is just attach the conduit straight onto the outside of a building. If the building is quite large, you can attach it several times. So for example, for this building, I've got a conduit here, which is going to power any lights that I've got in here. This light is already fixed and in place. This one I don't actually provide power for, that one's already done. But this one is just so that I don't have to use another pylon. But before I did have lights here, so let's say for the sake of argument, I decide to put a light here. So I'm going to put a light here. So that works nicely, and it will work pretty much anywhere. I can put it anywhere I like, and it's going to work because it's within the range of the conduit. If I start moving it further away, it's going to work here because there is a pylon. So as long as kind of electrical source nearby, it's going to work. But then if you try to add it somewhere else, I put it here, there's no electricity here, so it's not going to work. It will work on this building because I have a conduit attached onto the roof. So if I put this on here, it doesn't work because I don't have a conduit attached here. So what you do, you basically go and find your conduit, attach that on there, highlight it, and then attach wire. If I attach wire onto it, and once it snaps on, which is not always easily done, come on you bastard, there we go, snap that on. Now as you can see, a glitch has occurred. So the glitch basically happens occasionally with the lights, they suddenly switch off. Best thing you can do, store it, go back to your lights and replace it, and hey presto, it works. So that's the basics of using conduits. Now there are different types you can use. You've got the standard pylon. This one pretty much is just to move cables around, and this is the one that you would use inside a building if you didn't want to use conduits. However, it means that when you're walking through, your head is clipping through cables, and it kind of takes away the effect. So generally I attach them straight to the ceiling, or just put them outside the building. Then you've got the large pylon types. These are the types I generally use because it keeps the cables out of the way of people. You've got your 3 conduit types, and then you've got a small switched pylon, so you can switch the power off. Just over here where I've got my lights, I've got the bigger version, so I can switch my spotlights on and off. And the way that works is you obviously need your power source, so my power source being just here. So this connects up to this pylon, which will then go over to my switched pylon. Now my switched pylon then connects to a motor up to here as well, and then from the pylon we'll go straight down to my spotlight and my other spotlight. So when I switch this on and off, my spotlights will switch on and off. The motor will stay running unless of course I decide to switch it off, but even then they'll still work because I have the large one attached. I don't know if raiders can actually destroy your generators, but I think it's always best to have too many than not enough. So I mean, that's the basics of using switches. So the other thing that you've got in there, the other thing you've got is you've got the large pylon, which is the same as this one. Then you've got the wall switches. So the wall switches you can attach pretty much anywhere, and these will also act as a conduit. So if I show you here, by store the cable, store the conduit, the light has now switched off. As you can see in the corner, it's now switched off. So let's say I want to add a cable instead. So let's get my light switch on there, and then link that up to the electricity. Oh, it's not going to link. Come on. Okay, I need to move that. Try that now. There we go. So now you'll notice off, on, off, on. So again, this is an area of effect thing. So as long as I have this nearby, it's going to work. If I decide to move this over here, it switches off and it doesn't work. So you generally have to have it nearby. So once it's nearby, the light will work. That's basically how the lighting system will work here. Now for other items that are going to need power, for example my spotlights, as you can see it says requires 2 energy. This will mean that you have to have a cable touching it. Without the cable it's not going to work. If I take the cable away, it just switches off. So I connect a cable, connect it up to my pylon, and it starts working again. So there are other types of pylons as well. You have got pressure plates as well. So for example, if I want to set a trap up, I can put a pressure plate just behind the door, put that down, and then if I wanted to, I can link it up to a trap. So I could set up a Tesla arc, or I could set up a radiation emitter, or even add in a nice flamethrower. Now, as long as the switch connects directly to your trap or your item that you want to switch on when it activates, and then the power goes to the switch, it's going to work no problem. So I don't have much oil, so I don't really want to waste my oil setting this up. So sorry guys, I'm not going to show you that. But moving on. You've got different light types, so I've unlocked all of the lights. So these lights, the high-tech lights, these came with a magazine, so these are all new. This one is a floor light. This one, I was hoping that you could place this on items, but you can't. It literally just sits on the floor. I was hoping to have a nice little table lamp, but it won't let you set it on anything except the floor, so it's kind of useless, to be honest. So yeah, I don't like that so much. You've got the disco ball, which it kind of looks okay, but for me it's a bit gimmicky and a bit of a waste. The strobe light for me is just annoying. It's just a light that flashes periodically. But some of these can be quite nice. So if I place that there, I don't have a conduit there. If I place it here, and oh, it was already off. Yeah, so I've got a nice little light, but it's not going to give out that much light, these high-tech lights. It's more just they look nice than anything. So the best light so far in the game has to be the ceiling light. So moving on, there are other kinds of switches. You've got the pressure plate switch. You've also got this type, the laser tripwire. So the laser tripwire, basically you put that on the ground and anything that walks through it is going to activate it. This is probably the best one if you're going to have a gate entrance, as obviously it goes by height, so you obviously can't put it high, but basically you put that down by an entrance, put that there, and then you can set up traps around it. Maybe you want to set up a Tesla arc, or you want to set up radiation emitter, or maybe even flames. That one could be quite useful. You've got two kinds, big and small. So the small one you would obviously use for a narrow doorway. So put that outside the doorway. Anything that walks through is going to get electrocuted or gassed or whatever nasty contraption you've set up for them. So yeah, that's about it for part one. So I'm going to do this video in two parts because power is quite difficult and a lot to cover. So if you'd like to see another video going more in depth on the power, then hit like and please comment, and I'll make another video for you guys. So I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks to everyone for watching and supporting my channel. As always, please leave a like and comment, as your feedback is greatly appreciated, and if you haven't already, subscribe now. Also, you may like to follow me on Twitter, like my Facebook page, add me as a friend, add me to your Google circles, follow me on Instagram, add me on Tumblr, join my group, subscribe to my Twitch account, reshare my Facebook posts, retweet all my tweets,
like all my statuses and pictures coming from everything I've done, and watch every single video I've made twice.
Thank you.